Welcome to How We Heard It, the podcast about music, pop culture, movies, and more, with your hosts Wayne Bledsoe and Chuck Campbell.
Marhaba et bonjour, Lebanon. This is Chuck Campbell with
Wayne Bledsoe and
This is John Baker. I got to know what that was.
yeah, really.
That is a hello to Lebanon. Yesterday, the first country on board was Lebanon. We had a listener, which I think was the first time we had a listener from Lebanon. And I threw in et bonjour because they do speak a lot of French in Lebanon. So if you can't, if you can speak French, you can probably get along with make yourself heard and understood in Lebanon.
Secondary language, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And they also speak English, so, But I always wanted to throw together marhaba et bonjour. So anyway, so we had an interesting path, Wayne, to sorting out this topic, didn't we?
It went on for days.
Yeah, it did go on for days. We were like way ahead of the game. We had almost a whole week. And we were talking, and it sounded like we were real close to a topic. And then we just blanked out on each other. And then 2 days ago, in the afternoon, I was like, oh my God, now we're late. We don't have a topic yet, and we're late. And we haven't told John anything. But it was interesting because we went back and forth between talking about the worst albums by good artists and which that plays to your strengths, but it totally, I can't do that.
You're a singles guy.
Yeah, I'm a singles guy. I don't have a lot of deep knowledge about entire discographies of just about anybody.
You're not a completist.
Right. So I was pushing for worst singles, by hit singles artists, but that doesn't really play to your strength because you've not been, a Billboard nerd, like looking at how everyone's doing on charts. So we're kind of pushing back and forth on how to do it. And you said something that made me laugh because you said, forget how you said it, but you said, well, you could just do the albums that you do know, the acts that you do know. You're kind of still pushing for the albums thing. And you said, I'll cover the legendary people and you can do your niche. And I thought, I'm niche?
I know.
I'm niche?
I said it made it to kind of the opposite.
I know, because I thought you've always been niche, but I guess I would be niche in this point.
Yeah, so it's kind of a nice change.
Yeah. But we ended up, instead, we're going to do both because that plays to both of our strengths. It gives John a chance to do both himself. But Wayne's going to focus on albums, and I'm going to focus on singles, and John's got some of both. So, it all worked out.
Yeah.
Mostly albums.
Okay. Well, yeah, I figured both of you would probably be mostly albums because you didn't really pay. That was the one nerd thing I had, and neither one of you share that. And that's like, where did these things chart? And how did they move up and down? And
You're
all
a
that
sports guy, though. You like
stuff.
stats.
Yeah. I like numbers and competition and stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's like, because I initially I thought, well, I'm going to get an album and a single.
Right.
My least favorite. But it's like, thinking about the Beatles, I can't think of a least favorite Beatles single.
I actually did the Beatles. I did a least favorite because it just kind of stood out. If I saw, I looked at a lot of artists for this, including a lot of older ones, and I thought, wow, I do know their singles. I don't know. I can't talk to you about, I couldn't have a conversation where like, well, Revolver, but what about Yellow Summer? I couldn't do that.
Right.
But I can talk about their singles because I realized, oh, wow, I do know these songs.
Well, see, that is one of the things is as a teenager, I would be a completist on stuff. I would want to get everything by an artist I love.
Yeah. Me too.
No matter how obscure,
Right.
and I remember getting Japanese imports of like Kinks compilations
Wow.
because they had each one had a song I didn't have. One song.
Right. Wow. Well, actually, I did that too with some artists. Not a lot of them, but some artists I would do. With the 12-inch singles. And sometimes they put out 2 or 3 different ones. And, oh, look, there's an acoustic version or there's, and I would want that too. But, starting, and I've talked about this before, but, my editor in Florida, when I started writing the music column, I had no background in it at all. She just they just sprung it on me. And it's like, wow, I don't have any history in this. And I thought, I can't talk about the Beatles even because I don't really know.
Right.
And back then, you couldn't just go home and listen to them.
Right.
You had to have copies of these albums.
Yep.
And there were all these older dudes in the newsroom in their 30s and 40s. I was in my early 20s, and they were like, Beatles. And it's like, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't even know how to begin to learn all of this stuff, and I'll never be an expert in their eyes. And like my editor was saying, it's like, just throw it away. Just start with who's coming out with albums today. And that's what I did, because it's a level playing field.
Yeah.
And I can interview a new artist. I have just as much authority on them as anybody else does. So that's what I did. And I just never, because, I mean, now, of course, if you really wanted to know, you could go and stream all of everything by everybody. But if you didn't have it, you didn't have it.
Yeah.
And meanwall, when I started at the New Sentinel, I already had 1,000 vinyl albums.
I probably had between 10 and 20 albums. And I started writing a music column, so.
Well, and you were telling me, Chuck, about sort of when you first came to the New Sentinel before we started taping, and you were talking about how the editors were saying, well, Wayne's doing the stuff that's important, and you're just doing your little...
Well, yeah. Oh, that was...
I didn't hear you say
I don't know how much of this you remember.
I don't remember hearing him.
Well, of course, everyone wanted to protect Wayne. Wayne's the most lovable guy you'll ever meet anyway. And the arts and entertainment department was very insulated from the rest of the newsroom. The rest of the newsroom people were just kind of from everywhere, and they were coming and going.
Yeah.
But you guys were all local. The other two entertainment writers were basically your age, within a year or two.
Yeah.
And, you all went to high school in Knoxville and all that stuff. So you were tight. And, of course, my boss, who had come there about a year before from Florida, he was kind of an outsider. And then he comes looking at me, another outsider to bring in, and he would be an automatic ally. So everybody's, red flags are coming up because they're thinking he's going to come and try to take Wayne's stuff away from him and all that.
But he was hired under kind of false pretenses to him. They told him you can do all this stuff, so he started trying to give me all of the the editing stuff.
Oh yeah,
and it's like if I'd wanted to be the editor, I would have put in for this job. I'm a writer and I want to keep writing.
Right.
So
I didn't know about any of that.
That was happening too. And that was before you even got there.
I wasn't even expecting to get a job offer or anything when I came up. But the one thing that the editor liked, that made him jump up and offer me a job, was when the managing editor mentioned to him that my column was on the New York Times News Service.
Right.
And that just like ding, ding, ding. He goes, what can I say? You're hired. So just like that, I'm like, I wasn't expecting to get a job offer here. Yeah. And then that got back, I guess, to the Uber features and entertainment editor. Uh-huh. And she was concerned that, the big boss is like all enamored with Chuck's column on New York Times News Service. Right. And so and then that just made everybody, your allies and friends here who didn't know me, and that was fine. That just made them shift into high gear to protect you. And I would have done the same thing if I had been working with you, but I didn't know you, and I didn't know what I was coming into. And this one, features editor, she went to the Uber features editor, and she said, well, Chuck writes about stuff that's out today, but Wayne's writing about important people who will still be read about and cared about 50 years from now. And so that got back to our mutual boss, the one who was my boss in Florida. And he said, I think that there's like concern and all this stuff. And I said, well, we are a daily newspaper. I would think people care about stuff that's coming out today. It's like and I made it clear, I don't want to even begin to try to do what Wayne's done. I can't. I don't have the background.
And I couldn't do what you did.
Right. And it's finally, and then you had one peer who was like extremely protected. He was the only one who was actually a jerk to me. Like the others were kind of open to like getting to know me and everything. Right. But I started getting albums in the mail because they were coming to me in Florida, and then they were sending them to me here. And he insisted that you get all of them and you go through them and let me know what I can have. And I'm like, well, I've already got these contacts. And he was like really adamant, that you wouldn't have any say. And I was like, yeah, well, I'll tell you more about that later.
Well, it's serendipity that you fit together really well.
Yeah. The happy ending is when we talked face to face about it. It's like, oh my God, this is perfect.
Yeah, we got along great.
Yeah. All right. But I get to be niche. Well, I'm not niche after all, but still, I was excited to be niche for once.
Well, since we started with talking about the Beatles, what's your least favorite Beatles single?
Okay, so we started talking about the Beatles because I said I actually recognize the Beatles songs,
right? Which
I was kind of surprised, but all of their bigger hits, I don't know, something that was number 40, whatever. I'm not going to know that, but who cares? But the Beatles song that I just don't like is "Love Me Do." Really? It's just so amateurish. I know. Look at you both. Yeah. It's just like I listen to it now. It's like if
They were like 20 years old when they wrote it. I mean, it's like they were just kids.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it good. I mean, there are a lot of people who are... No, but it's like, if you didn't know the group and you just heard that song, you wouldn't go back and listen to it again. I wouldn't. I mean, it just sounds so, I mean, the harmonica or whatever, that's fine. But it just... and I don't do this with most of the artists I'm talking about here, because every other song I like a lot. Yeah. And it's not even that I hate it. And that's something I need to point out. It's like, usually there's one song that just kind of stands out as not as good as the others. Yeah. And their other older songs I thought were great, you know.
Well, and that fits in with the description of what our topic is. It's
exactly.
Like least favorite song or album by an artist you love. I mean, that doesn't mean it's awful. It just...
No, it doesn't mean it's awful.
This is the weakest.
Well, I mean, what I should say is that most of their songs I liked a lot better than I realized, they're big hits. And so this one just kind of like, okay, this one I really don't like. It's not, I hate it.
Of their earliest stuff, I mean, She Loves You is a way
She Loves You is great. Yeah.
But, but I like all that stuff. I mean, probably my least favorite Beatles single, even though I like it, is Lady Madonna.
Okay.
Was
that a big hit? Or?
Yeah, it was a big hit.
Okay.
Yeah, it was about 1968. It was a hit. Okay. I was listening to the radio. I had a copy of it.
Okay.
But, I like everything by the Beatles.
Okay.
Even their worst stuff.
I had that problem. There were some artists that's like, well, I don't really have a least favorite, so I'm just skip that artist altogether.
Well, with the Beatles, most people pick the Yellow Submarine soundtrack, because I don't consider that a Beatles album.
Right.
It had like 3 new songs on it.
Yeah, that was my pick for least favorite album, despite the fact that it has Hey Bulldog, which I love.
That's a great song. And I think Only a Northern Song's a good song,
It's a good song, too.
But, I don't consider that a Beatles album.
No.
I think it's kind of unfair to put that in there because it's...
Because it's a soundtrack? Or,
yeah, and it's got like half of it is like instrumental soundtrack music by George Martin. Right. So to me, it just doesn't count.
Well, I'm not talking about tracks either. I'm talking about songs that were actually released as singles.
Right, you're right, I know.
And that,
But we were talking about albums.
Yeah, we went to albums.
Why don't you all talk about Beatles albums and I'll sit back.
I would also...
I got nothing to add.
I almost put Magical Mystery Tour just because it's the album that follows Sgt. Pepper. And it's just a letdown. It's not as good.
Well, but all the side that's made up...
But it's got Penny Lane and Strawberry Fields and all that great stuff on it.
Yeah, I really love that album. It's mostly because of the singles on the side, too, which they didn't release it that way in Europe. But mine is surprisingly, even though it has two of my favorite Beatles songs on it, is Let It Be.
I love that record.
See, I love Let It Be naked, the way
I like that one, too.
McCartney wanted to put out. It's so much better.
Without all that Phil Spector reverb.
Orchestration crap and the reverb. And it just... And that's the whole reason I don't like Let It Be is the production.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll go with that. But
it's overdone in places and underdone in places. It just doesn't work.
It's not consistent.
Right. But, there's not a Beatles album that I don't like.
Right.
But that's my least favorite.
Okay.
Just Let It Be.
Let It Be.
More than Yellow Submarine.
Well, no, Yellow Submarine I don't count.
No, you don't
count Yellow Submarine is given. It's just like, it's not, I don't think it's a real Beatles album. It's got Beatles songs, but it's not like we went in the studio to create this thing.
Okay.
All right. I got another legendary one here.
Okay.
Bob Dylan.
Okay.
And Bob Dylan has released some really bad albums. He's released some of the best albums of all time. And this is funny because it's like most people, and Dylan himself, I'm sure, would pick Dylan, which is like cobbled together after he left Columbia Records to record one album for Asylum Records. They just pulled together like
B-sides or outtakes.
Scraps.
Yeah, scraps from his last 2 albums and put this album out. And it didn't come out on CD until they released like a complete collection years and years and years after the CD stuff happened. But I picked 1990s Under the Red Sky, produced by Don Was, has like Slash and Mark Knopfler and George Harrison all guesting on it, and the songs just suck. It is the worst.
Why do they suck?
It is almost like he decided, I'm just gonna put the opening song is called Wiggle Wiggle.
Oh, you've talked about Wiggle Wiggle before.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it sounds like a bunch of really badly written...
I hate that song
rhymes.
Just from the title.
It's terrible. And the whole album, I mean, there's just hardly anything redeeming on it. And usually, even in his Christian era, Saved and all that stuff, there's some great songs.
Okay.
And this has no great songs.
Okay.
That's from when, 90?
1990. And I talked to Don Was about producing it. And it's like, the production's good. And he said, imagine how hard it is to tell George Harrison, you need to tune your guitar. I've said that before, I think. But it's like, there's just nothing there. It's just awful. And fittingly.
That happens sometimes. Even the best artists, they'll go into the studio and there's just the material is just lifeless for some reason. Yeah. And it's just nothing in it to resonate.
Well, and what really indicates to me that he was just like done songwriting for this period of time was the next 2 albums he released were all covers.
Oh,
like
wow.
old folk songs and blues songs.
He was running out of
out of inspiration.
Yeah. And then he comes back after that with one of his best albums, Time Out of Mind, after it's all said and done. But yeah, you want to get a bad Bob Dylan album, that's the baddest.
Okay. Well, I don't.
I know.
Well, I'm going to talk about, so I'm talking about singles.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with the now because somehow we always end up, I have 5 minutes at the end of a show to get through the now. So I'm going to start with, and I'm doing mainly big artists and bigger artists, and I'm not going to do any Gen Z. I feel like they don't have enough track record to really be able to,
right.
If you've only got 2 or 3 albums, it seems unfair to be pinpointing. So I'm starting with Taylor Swift, 36 years old, right? So many hits. She's had, now I saw one thing that said she's been the biggest hit maker of this century, that she has 15 number ones and 70 top 10 singles. Now, I've got Drake on here too, and somehow someone said he has 14 number ones and 90 top 10 hits. I don't know if that's all true, but these are like 2 monsters, right?
Right.
And she's done such a good job with a lot of great songs, and I came aboard with Shake It Off, of course, which was... I
love that song.
Yeah, that was... the 2014 album that was titled 1989. But in the 12 years since then, she's had one great song after another. I mean, even like Fate of Ophelia and Opalite, these 2 are like from this year, end of last year and this year. She's just kept making good ones. But she did an album, Lover, and it was a little bit, when was Lover out? Anyway, 2019. And it was a little bit less polished and forward-thinking than her other albums, even though it had some great songs on it. And there was one song on it called Me, with an exclamation point, co-produced by Joel Little, and it features Brendan Urie of Panic at the Disco. Mm-hmm. And the song is just a little too cutesy for me. It's like, it's got the sing-along chorus, and there's a cute video, and they're running around with umbrellas and everything. And I love when Taylor Swift is lighthearted or whatever, because a lot of times she is heavy, but I like her more with a cynical edge. And there is cynicism to this because it's all about narcissism and them both being narcissists and everything. But the whole thing just came across as like really shallow and kind of hokey. And again, this is like when you were talking about the Beatles or whatever. It's like, I still like all of her songs and I do like the song, but this one's
not up to the standard.
This one's not up to the standard. I'm going to move on to Drake since I mentioned him, because the year before she came out with Me, Drake came out with Happy Birthday, and this song is totally cynical. It's like the F word all the way through it, and it's like it just like F word. It's your birthday and blah blah blah, and it's so heavily. It's got so much heavy vocoder stuff, and he's got a good voice and everything. And it just sounds amateurish, and there's nothing catchy about it. It's just bizarre and weird to listen to. So it's like, of all the 90 hits or how many ever he's had, this one just is like, what was anybody thinking when they did this? So,
yeah, it's with rap. It's hard for me to differentiate on a lot of these things.
Right. Well,
every now and then I'll hear a rap song that I really, really like.
Yeah. Yeah.
But most of the time, for the rest of them, it's just sort of like, this is just more of this.
I think you would really hate this one.
Really?
Yeah, I think you would really hate it because it's like, well, where's this going? And you're waiting for something to happen. And it's like nothing's happening, and he's just throwing the F word around, and it's just like this repetitive kind of loop, and there's nothing meditative about it. There's nothing endearing about it, nothing funny or mean. It's just like, why am I listening? And the voice is just awful. The treatment on the voice was terrible.
I get so sick of that. I get the filters and the
auto-tune.
Yeah, I hate it.
I can't stand that.
And
it's become an affected style of its
Yeah.
own,
Right.
long since. But
Yeah.
But Brian Eno does a really good job of using auto-tune because he just tunes it to an extreme, and it sounds like a little girl whispering.
Yeah, he's
when
like,
it's his
there are
voice.
others that do that too. Is that you can have a lot of fun, and anything can be a plus if you do it right.
Yeah.
But this was done completely. So there's Taylor Swift and Drake, two of our biggest artists, and two of their weakest hit singles. They've had other tracks, but these are hits.
Well, what's funny is like with Kanye West, I used to, you ought to hear a Kanye West single and think it was pretty good. And then he went through, when he started losing it, and I can't remember
When
the
his
name.
mother died, yeah.
Yeah, and when he did that, I can't remember what the name of the song was. The video had him and Kardashian on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
After that, I didn't like anything.
Right.
It was just irritating. It was like he was throwing sounds on without any real purpose.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, but I'm not that big on singles anyway, as we know.
I know. Well,
think
go
I've
talk
ever-
about albums I don't know.
I don't believe I've ever listened to any Kanye West.
Well,
I'm sure you've heard him. You'd probably
Well, my biggest awareness of him was at the Bonnaroo Music Festival when he badgered the promoters of the thing to move his set to the last thing of the evening, and then there was nothing else playing, so the entire crowd came over into the huge big field where the big stage was, and he didn't even come on till like 3:30. People were standing out in the field for like 3 or 4 hours, and by the time his set ended, the sun was coming up.
Yeah.
And ever since then, there's walls around that they encourage you to do graffiti on, and Kanye Sucks is all over every year. He's been.
Well, he went on and dissed Bonnaroo after that too, though.
Well,
blaming him for everything.
He's dissed everybody and everything, including Taylor Swift and Drake. But Gold Digger, you might know that one.
Yeah,
If you're
I've heard that one.
Okay, yeah.
I have heard
If you've heard any Kanye, that's probably the one.
Yeah, sampling Ray Charles.
Yeah.
Well, I want to throw out, my favorite band is the Kinks, as we
Yes, they are,
mentioned before. But it was so hard to review their albums when they signed with MCA. Their albums were not very good.
MCA didn't have a good record from what I remember.
No, they didn't.
Music Cemetery of America.
They had some bad stuff, but like they recorded like 3 albums for MCA, 3 studio albums. And UK Jive, the only thing on it that's any good, that I think is any good, is the title cut. And usually with even a bad Kinks album, you're
going to have some songs.
you got 2 or 3 really good songs.
Yeah.
Why was this one bad?
It just sounded totally uninspired.
Yeah.
And the best songs on it other than UK Jive are Dave's songs, and Dave's songs are usually the weakest.
Oh, okay.
Other than Strangers.
That's a
Strangers
red
is like
flag.
a great one. Yeah, but it was like, I remember having to review this and write a bad review, and it's like, this hurts.
Yeah, I get that. Well, I just keep thinking, for some reason, I mean, my algorithm knows that I love the Kinks, and so it throws Kinks songs in there. But lately, I just keep hearing jukebox music from Sleepwalker.
Yeah.
And I just don't like that song. I don't like
I do.
the whole Arista period.
See, I like that. That's one of my favorite periods. I love
It's
it.
just gigantic, chunky arena rock, and that's not what I go to the Kinks for.
Oh, well, do you have Give the People What They Want?
That one is a great one.
Yeah. I mean, that album's terrific. And the one, Word of Mouth, which is like their swan song and, not very inspired, it's got some great songs on it.
I'm not sure if I've heard that one or not.
It's terrific.
I just don't pay attention to that part of the Kinks.
Yeah, well.
The arena rock side.
You need to.
Okay. All right.
Clive Davis brought them back, made them popular. They
And
had
I
their
think
most popular
I think
stuff.
I may have recommended. There's a great documentary about Clive Davis on YouTube.
Yeah.
What a great story.
But anyway, I mean, it's like that album is it's totally weak. And most people who love the Kinks pick Soap Opera, and I think Soap Opera is it's got a lot of great songs on it. And
It's sort of the big thematic.
well, they were doing rock operas.
Yeah.
And their rock opera period, a lot of people hate. And it's a lot of great songs.
Yeah, there are some good songs, but it's a lot to digest.
Yeah, but yeah, UK Jive.
Which album is Come Dancing on?
State of Confusion.
Is that MCA?
That's Arista.
Oh, is that still Arista? Okay.
Yeah,
that's a great song.
Yeah, yeah. But that's that whole era. They came back. They got more popular, really, than they'd ever been.
Have you heard Ray Davis, the last solo record of his, Americana?
I've got the first Americana. He did 2.
Oh, he did too?
Yeah,
I've
and I
only
haven't heard the
first
second
one, but I was excited about it because he used the Jayhawks as a backing band.
Yeah.
But it's just not. He kind of comes across as a creepy old man.
It doesn't hold up. I was real disappointed too. That's why I didn't buy the second one. But anyway, Chuck, what you got? Or you got something?
Go ahead, Tom.
Well, one of my favorite artists since the '90s has been Beck, and he's just put out a series of all different styles and everything. But his album from 2017, Colors, is just sophomoric and stupid. It's just dance music with no substance. I'm really disappointed in it.
He has a stupid side, but he usually decorates it so much that it's even more enjoyable.
Yeah.
But
I love Beck.
I don't really remember that album.
Well, just don't bother.
Don't bother. I will mark it off my list.
That was the very first when the topic came up. I was like, Beck. Well, actually, it wasn't me. It was my wife that said that album.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she's a big Beck fan too.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't heard that one.
Oh.
But I agree with Chuck. I mean, sometimes his stupid stuff is like, Loser's a pretty stupid song.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
love
it's
it.
totally stupid.
Yeah.
Well, this is not anywhere near as original as Loser was.
Okay.
Loser has got a lot of really interesting that slap
Loser is
guitar
a really smart, stupid song.
and it captures the zeitgeist of the moment when that came out.
Yeah.
But this is just kind of, it's 2017. It's real synthetic. There's lots of auto-tune on his voice. It's meant to appeal to club kids, I think.
Well, I love Prince, but I think Beck is probably in the same sort of thing. It's like, that's the best example of, instead of, pushing forward, they start listening to the people who were listening to them.
Yeah.
Start playing to an audience.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, after a certain
If
point,
you're around in the business long enough, it seems like that always is going to happen to you.
And once you start doing that, once you start thinking about the artist, about the audience, the art just loses its potency, I think.
Yeah.
It loses its originality.
Yeah, but it's also, I think, that people who are real trailblazers, and they stop blazing the trail and start listening to other people, what's
following other people's trail.
Yeah, what's happening now.
Yeah.
Because the Rolling Stones were real bad about that. The Mick Jagger was always like wanting to sound modern. It's like, you don't sound modern.
All right, then what's your least favorite Stones record?
My least favorite Stones album, I think, is Bridges to Babylon. That's what I put down.
I haven't paid enough attention to the later stuff.
That is the perfect example of Jagger wanting to sound like modern stuff.
Oh my God, they're still releasing albums too.
Well, they just released a new one, and I haven't gotten it yet. So
not bad, or
everything I've heard so far is pretty good. But
I thought her Satanic Majesty's Request, because they were just trying to do psychedelia, and that's not what they're about.
Well, see, that would, for a while, that would have, until I listened to Bridges to Babylon. Yeah. That probably would have been mine, but that one has She's a Rainbow on it.
It's not enough to lift it out of the garbage pail for me.
No.
Because they went on to such greater glories. The whole 60s.
Oh, yeah.
That stretch from, Beggar's Banquet to Sticky Fingers to Exile on Main Street, all of those are just, they're not
all the way up to Some Girls, even though, the Mick Taylor era is my favorite era, but, they stayed pretty vibrant. But to some extent, I agree, but that was like their last real misstep until you get a lot further up there.
Yeah.
But after that is when their classic period starts.
Yes. Maybe they had to get that out of their system.
Yeah. But,
everybody was making psychedelic records then, too.
Well, the same thing with Bridges to Babylon. It's like they wanted to get into the modern R&B sound, and it's like, you guys don't ever sound modern R&B. No matter how much Don Was tries to help you out.
No matter how fake Keith's teeth are.
It just doesn't work.
All right. I'm going to Beyonce, winner of more Grammys than anybody. She's won 35 Grammys, and apparently she's had 99 nominations.
Wow.
So that's amazing. And she said, I do like much of her material and everything. My first blush thought was, I hated what she did to Jolene by Dolly Parton. Yeah. She covered it for the country album she released and won Best Album of the Year last year with. I hated not her vocal and not the arrangement. I hated how she changed the lyrics to completely change the perspective. Yeah. We've talked about this before, and how Dolly was...
The thing about Jolene that makes it special is the perspective that she brings.
Yeah, Dolly throws herself on the mercy of this other woman. Just please don't take my man.
Just because you can.
And and Beyonce's like, I dare you to try to take my man. It just changes what the song is.
Yeah.
But I had to throw that out because that wasn't technically a single. I thought it was a single, but when I looked it up, it wasn't. So I went back to her solo debut from 2003, and she had a song called Daddy. Again, this was her solo debut, and Daddy was Matthew Knowles, her father and manager. And it was a promo single. It wasn't a typical single, but you could download it before the album came out and blah, blah, blah. And it was so cringy. It's just this sugary, sweet tribute to her dad. I know it was heartfelt, but it's just like, ew, we don't have to hear this song, Beyonce. And it was like it made everyone pause because she had done so well, in her group. But then when she's going to come out with a solo, and this is the first thing you hear, and it's like, oh my God, no. And she's done great since then. Oh boy, I've got a bunch of people to go through. So I'm going to move on to Usher, who is one of our biggest hit makers from, this century. And he's got a great voice and does a lot of good songs, but he had one called Scream. And this was produced by Max Martin and Shellback, who are like big hit makers. They were behind Taylor Swift and
see, you know about producers.
I don't know. I mentioned the 3 or 4 I know, but these guys, they did Shake It Off. They've done so many hits and everything. But what they did with Usher is they put him in an EDM thing. So they had a lot of vocoder stuff and everything. And it sounded soulless. And his whole thing is he's got a soulful voice and soulful delivery. So you take a good singer and then you overprocess his voice all of a sudden. The song's called Scream. It came out in 2012. It's just like, no, this isn't the guy that everybody knows and loves. You just turned him into anybody else. So I would say that was Usher's worst. And just to round off these younger people for me are the ones who are like 35 to 40 something. Just today, because I'm skipping Gen Z. I'm going to go with Lady Gaga. She's been racking up hits since her 28 debut. Lots of hits. The older songs of hers don't sound as strong as they did back in the day. But the one I really don't like is called Applause. And Applause is like this real theatrical song. And it's about being kind of this theater Greek, and you lift up people. And what I don't like about it, I don't like the staccato delivery of the chorus, because it's just like this assault of like, da, 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 da. It's like, and it's so hammy and theatrical. It's like, that's just too much. I love Gaga and her theatrics. They're amazing and classy and weird, but this one was just like too in your face for me. It wasn't my type.
I think I've heard that one.
I live for the applause. It's like,
that sounds familiar.
No applause for that one, Lady Gaga.
Well, it took me a long time to appreciate her, but, I cannot appreciate her on that one.
Yeah.
I came to appreciate her from A Star Is Born.
Yeah, she was fantastic.
She was great in that.
She was fantastic. She was a great singer.
And she was real. I mean, she wasn't putting on any kind of fake. She wasn't wearing a meat dress.
No.
She was just real.
Yeah. She's very real. She does identify with her fans, and she's very nerdy. She's a great person to like, and she's had fantastic songs. I hate to dwell on the negative, but that song was a hard no for me.
I hate to dwell on the negative. That's what this whole show is about.
I know.
I got one band that was really influential to me. In high school, the local classic rock station, Rock 104, they would have they'd get a new artist in, and they was like, smash it or trash it. We're going to play this, and you call us and let us know what you think. And they played R.E.M. Radio Free Europe. And I was like, wow, that sounds like the Byrds. That doesn't sound like anything like ZZ Top or Emerson, Lake and Palmer or Led Zeppelin or whatever they were playing. So I went out and bought it. And man, Murmur and Reckoning and Fables of the Reconstruction, all those albums are just monumental to me.
Right.
But from 2004, they did an album called Around the Sun.
Yeah.
And Mike Mills, who's an amazing musician, he just took things over, and it's almost all gloppy keyboards, and it's really down, and it doesn't have any highlights. Wow. And Michael Stipe singing about, dark subjects, and it just doesn't ever lighten up. And I was disappointed. So that's that.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember, I think I reviewed that one when it came out. Because I think I generally reviewed it.
Yeah, I don't remember reviewing that one.
And I was very lukewarm to the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, they put out some fantastic records.
Well, see, I even like Shiny Happy People, which a lot.
Well, I hate that single.
I don't like that song, but I like that album.
That's my least favorite R.E.M. single. They've had some amazing singles and everything.
See, I still like
that one. I just like. Ugh. I think it's the yellow sideways baseball cap that he's wearing, like he's a 10-year-old in the video.
Oh, the video's the video.
You would want to punch him if you saw this. And we're not even violent people.
You would have punched Michael Stipe anyway. That's just the way he is.
He's just punchable.
Yeah, he's just got that punchable face. No violence, people, and we're not violent guys.
I remember, it's just a little side story, but I used to play in a band with our mutual friend Tim Lee, and we were driving down to a gig in Athens, Georgia. And our friend Greg Horn was in the van with us, and he was like, "Gosh, I wonder if we're going to see any of the R.E.M. guys there." And I'm like, "No, they're out in L.A. They're
right.
They're worldwide." And I had played in bands in Athens before, and when I first went there, I thought that same thing. And of course, no. So we get down there and get to the club and get out of the van, and the first person that walks around the corner is Peter Buck.
Wow.
And he walks straight up to... So Tim is like the Kevin Bacon of rock and roll. He can connect through 5 people to every person in rock and roll.
Oh, yeah.
And Pete Buck walks up and goes, "Hey, Tim, how you doing? I was just listening to your Windbreakers album on the way down here." It's like, we're having our annual meeting at the office, which is right above the club where we were playing. And they all came to see us play. And
how cool.
It was amazing. Just a little side story.
That's cool. I didn't know that one. We always talk about David Bowie. David Bowie's a favorite. And David Bowie has, like all these people, released great stuff and then released some junk. And Never Let Me Down, right about the time that you started listening to him, 2 albums after, I think that is his lowest point.
I'm not sure I've ever even listened to that record.
It's good because you wouldn't remember it if you had. It's so bad. I went back to look at it and it was like, there's nothing memorable on this album. It comes right after Tonight, with that Loving the Alien and Tonight, which are Loving the Alien is probably my least favorite David Bowie single.
Okay.
But I mean that I know of.
Yeah, that wasn't. I don't think that was a hit.
Was it not?
Not a big hit. I copied down all of his top 10s.
Okay.
And there aren't that many. I mean, he was more of an album artist, and then he had singles, but they weren't like burning up the top 40 radio.
Well, then he became an MTV,
star. And even those, but I mean, he had Fame and he had Golden Years and he had Let's Dance and China Girl and Blue Jean, kind of marginal stuff. But there's no song worse by him than Dancing in the Street with Mick Jagger.
Oh, that is
I hate that copy.
Awesome.
It's like I'll take all of those other songs of his before I would listen to that.
I saw that not too long ago. The video for it.
Oh my God, so terrible!
It was like. This is every bit as bad as I remember it.
Yeah, it's almost they're like, let's make the worst video we can. So it was from '85, and it was I don't know if it was a Live Aid fundraiser or something, but it was making money, so it was well intentioned, but wow, man, just both of them like stop.
It's a terrible single.
Stop the video, stop the song.
I don't know what album that's on. Maybe that's on it.
I don't know if it's on an album even.
Oh, it's on something. But that period of time, it's so funny because there's so many artists that have like 10 great years and then they just start releasing just junk. I mean, I went through the Elton John collection and so many of those things I bought like in cutout for $1 because just to be a completist.
I've got Elton John on here too, actually.
Oh, I want to know what single you hated the most.
All right.
I couldn't pick an album because there were so many that were equally awful.
Well, that was interesting because I was looking at his singles, and most of his hit singles were actually good songs.
Yeah.
And the terrible albums that you've talked about, I don't know if they had hit singles or whatever.
Some of them did, but not many.
But, but the one song that just rubs me wrong is Island Girl.
Island Girl's terrible.
1975. And it's like,
and that's in the middle of his best.
Well, that's at the end of his best stuff.
Well, that was the whole thing. He was like, I guess he had marimba and stuff like that. He was stealing like Jamaican music, and it just feels so racist. It's like, and is it a woman or a man? It's like this super tall black woman prostitute, and he's like asking her, what she wants in a white man's world. And it's like, what is this song even about? It was like really awkward.
That's off the Rock of the Westies album, which is like. That's the one right after Caribou. Caribou was his last great album.
Okay.
Rock of the West, he's got a couple good songs on it.
A little bit.
Well, this one was just weirdly
That's where it
racist or something. I don't know what the point was.
I mean, I thought Blue Moves, which came out after that, was pretty good.
Yeah, that was good.
But, man. But, when you get to the Fox and all that other stuff, Leather Jackets, he was so coked up he didn't know what he was doing. But, I mean, what he should have...
I shouldn't laugh at that.
Feel Like a Bullet in the Gun of Robert Ford, that's a good song.
I didn't like that one either.
Well, you were just wrong.
No, I was into Elton John right at the beginning and loved that stuff. And then once it got to after Caribou, it's like, okay, I'm off this train.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that.
I never paid attention to Island Girl. When was it even out? 75
Yeah,
or something?
75.
Yeah, so
That was-
I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know what the lyrics were about, and it just never. But at some point in the 80s or whatever, I started listening to it. Like, what is this?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, I started thinking, Paul McCartney. What's the worst thing of his? And at first, I thought Ebony and Ivory
That's awful.
was
Right.
Stevie Wonder, but it's got Stevie Wonder, and he's got a great voice. But then it's not nearly as bad as the Girl Is Mine.
Oh no, that's horrible.
That's horrible, and actually, that's credited to Michael Jackson with Paul McCartney.
Right.
So
I got
don't
Michael
know, but-
Jackson and Paul McCartney on my list, but go ahead.
But it's from Thriller, of all things.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like his huge smash album, and this song, "The Girl Is Mine," is just smarmy and ridiculous.
Insipid.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Insipid.
Well,
is
they
the
did
right word for it.
say, which I didn't think was so bad. I don't know if you hated that one as much. Too.
I vaguely
Say,
remember that song.
say,
But
Oh, I remember that well, but I didn't like that either. But
Well, I still think Paul McCartney's worst is Silly Love Songs.
it's a pretty bad song.
Yeah.
Got a
See,
good bass line.
I think Silly Love Songs is better than those, even though it's
And I like the round at the end.
Yeah, well, the very worst, and it didn't become a hit, but it was a single, is Biker Like an Icon. I've talked about it before. It's just the stupidest song of all time. And then, he's also got Wonderful Christmas Time. How can somebody so good, who's so incredibly talented, written some of the best songs of all time, not recognize that this song sucks?
Well, but I think with Paul McCartney, it's about getting your flow going, and you got to just keep cranking them out. He's just keeping going, and so you're going to get some duds.
Well, he's gotten better again. I mean, the last stuff I've heard has been pretty good.
Yeah.
But,
That chaos and creation in the backyard.
yeah, I
great
like
record.
Memory Almost Full. That was a good album. So,
Yeah. Oh, he's a musical soul.
I want to circle back to Michael Jackson.
Let's hear.
He made hits from 72 to 95. And I don't think they were most of his hits were decent songs. I'm even okay with Say, Say, Say. I don't know about the other
Is that-
Paul McCartney, but
Oh, you're talking about Paul McCartney.
no, I'm talking about Michael Jackson.
Say,
Now,
Say,
Paul
Say
McCartney
is not Michael Jackson. Is it?
with Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
No, Say, Say, Say is not Michael Jackson.
It's Michael Jackson with Paul McCartney.
Are they
Yeah.
together?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Anyway, yeah. So Ben, that was his first hit. That's fine for a kid,
Yeah.
Don't
Song
stop
about a
till you
rat.
get enough, huh?
Song about a rat.
Song about a rat, yeah. Don't stop till you get enough. Rock with you. Those were good, like
songs.
70s songs.
All that stuff off the wall's good.
And the big things he had, like Billie Jean, Beat It, Bad. The Way You Make Me Feel, I actually like that one a
fun.
lot.
I like it.
Let's see, Man in the Mirror, not bad. Dirty Diana, okay. Black or White, I like that one. You Aren't Alone. But the one I don't like is 1987, I Just Can't Stop Loving You. I don't know if you remember. It was the
I can't
number
remember.
one.
I
I'm
have
doing
a
mainly
vague
his
memory
number
of that.
ones.
Michael didn't write any of these songs.
Oh, no. But
Well, I think he got writing credit on some
did
of
he?
them.
I don't know.
He wrote
I don't care. I just know whoever's name is on the song.
That's
If
who
I
it
hate it, that's who gets blamed for it. And he was just so overwrought, and it's just very saccharine and kind of completely impossible to buy that song. I Just Can't Stop Loving You.
Yeah.
So that's my Michael Jackson knock.
I want to hear your take on the Replacements.
Well, I did put the Replacements down. My least favorite, and I like all the Replacements albums,
I do too.
is Hootenanny.
Really?
And I like it. It's got some great stuff on it.
I have Don't Tell a Soul.
Well,
It's just too slick. It's too produced. It's not as edgy as the Replacements need to be.
again, it is the production on that. If they released, there's a big box set that has the earlier production of it.
Oh.
And I want to get it. I've only heard pieces, but the pieces I've heard sound way, way better.
Yeah.
And I don't like the way Tim sounds.
No. But I
But-
love the songs.
Same here, but they re-released it, and I listened to that one. I couldn't buy it because it sold out so fast. It's way better. It's like Bob Marley's "Catch a Fire." When you listen to the original mix, is so much better. Same thing with the Replacements on Tim. It's like a totally different album. But Hootenanny, they were just going in and screwing around like they like to do.
Yeah.
So it kind of sounds like a throwaway to me.
Yes, but it's kind of their characters that they're sort of shaggy dogs. You just never know what you're going to get.
Oh, and it's got "Color Me Impressed" on it too. So
it's a
I
good
mean, good album. But most people pick All Shook Down as their least favorite.
Yeah, and that's Slim Dunlap playing guitar.
Yeah.
But I think the production's nice and tight, and there's some good Paul Westerberg songs on there.
See, I like it a lot. I think my favorite is Pleased to Meet Me, followed closely by Let It Be, but, I like them all.
Yeah, me too.
But Hootenanny is my least favorite.
Well, and here's another band that was hugely influential to me was the DBs.
Yeah.
And their first couple of records are just these beautifully written, tight little pop miniature songs with jangly guitars, and it's Chris Stamey and Peter Holzapfel writing songs. And then in '82, Chris Stamey left the band, and Peter Holzapfel kind of took it over. And the next two albums with just him, Like This and Sound of Music, they're both out of print, but they're great records.
Yeah.
But then they got back together in 2012 and came up with an album called Falling Off the Sky with Chris Stamey and the original lineup, and it just doesn't have any songs on it.
Yeah.
It's just not good.
That's too bad because they were a great band.
Yeah.
Chuck?
All right. I'm going to throw out some Bangles out there, my girls' Bangles, because I know I know John likes Susanna Hoffs, too, so, she was super nice. They had a lot of good, diverse hits, and you forget how many hits they had. Manic Monday, and If She Knew What She Wants, which is one of my favorites. Walking Down Your Street, Hazy Shade of Winter, In Your Room, Eternal Flame. But the one I don't like is Walk Like an Egyptian.
Really?
Yeah. It just sounds like a novelty song. When you hear all the other songs and all the other hits, and you hear them and how cohesive they are as a group, Walk Like an Egyptian just starts sounding like a producer, created novelty hit for them. And the video and everything, it was fine and all that, but it just kind of stands out as less Bangles than all the other Bangles songs.
That's the one that really hooked me right off the bat.
Well, I mean, it's their biggest hit.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens. The biggest hit isn't necessarily the best song.
I'd have to go with Eternal Flame because it's just schlocky.
You didn't like that? Oh, well, I thought that too, but I listened to it again. I thought, well, maybe, and it's like, this is actually a pretty song, though.
Well, I would give
Susanna Hoffs is amazing
a chance
on
to
that.
sing it for me. And
if she sang that to you, it would be your favorite song ever of all time.
My wife knows about this. It's okay.
Okay, yeah. She's your pass or something, isn't she?
You're a hall pass. Yeah. Mine's Shakira, so,
Yeah, not bad. You got the same birthday.
That's right.
She's Mensa, so, smart. She's got the moves. Her hips don't lie. I mean, what more can you want?
I believe them. I believe those hips.
All right, can I do my big R&B singers that you knew were coming?
Yep, let's hear them.
Okay, Mariah Carey. First hit, 1990, she had Vision of Love, which was just like, for me, that was just mind-bending. She was still a teenager, I think, at the time, and that voice was incredible. And then she just had this big run of hits, and just had, let's see, Love Take Time, Someday, I Don't Want to Cry, Emotions. That was fantastic. Can't Let Go, Make It Happen. These are more varied than you realize, Wayne. Okay. I say this all the time.
I know.
I'll Be There, Dream Lover. That's another fun song. She redid Endless Love with Luther Vandross, the one that Diana Ross and Lionel Richie, I guess, did. They did a better version. Fantasy, that's a good one. That's the one with the Tom Tom Cubs. One Sweet Day. All I Want for Christmas Is You. I know everyone has learned to hate that song, but when it came out, it was a fantastic Christmas song before it got played to death. Always Be My Baby Forever. But somehow, in 1994, she released Without You, which just absolutely lifeless and colorless. And I don't know what happened. It was still a big hit because her machine was going strong and all that. But she just ran aground and it was still a hit. And there are artists who can do that, and that's, I'm going to move over to Whitney Houston because the same thing kind of happened to her. And she started hitting, I think, in 85 or something like that. Saving All My Love for You, How Will I Know, Greatest Love of All these songs you don't like, but they're beautifully done, and there are millions and millions of fans of hers. So
that goes back to Clive Davis.
Yeah. I Want to Dance with Somebody, but it's her voice.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's her voice.
No, it's for him. It's not a producer. It's he signed her. He's like
discovered.
Oh, right. Okay, right. Yeah, I thought we were talking producers. I'm just in my groove here. How Will I Know, Greatest Love of All, I Want to Dance with Somebody, Didn't We Almost Have It All, So Emotional, that's more of a stronger one. I'm Your Baby Tonight, I love her voice and delivery on that. I mean, so many great hits. All That I Need, I Will Always Love You, of course, her cover of Dolly Parton, and I know you like Dolly Parton better, and that's fine. Exhale, I told you that's the one song that you need to listen to so you can hear her dialed down. But somehow, she had 7 straight number ones leading up to 1988. And that 7th one is Where Do Broken Hearts Go? And it's just like a paint by numbers. And it's just like out of the blue, kind of like the Mariah Carey thing. It's like, great song. We've talked about other artists who do this. Great song, great song, imagination, everything. And then they just kind of slide one out there. It just felt like lifeless. And so that was Whitney Houston's lifeless song.
It's funny. You mentioned all those Whitney Houston songs, and I think, oh, yeah, I remember that one. I remember that one.
Yeah.
I remember that one. But as soon as I heard Mariah Carey, I just shut that off. I was like, I do not want any part of this.
Well, you worked at a record store when All I Want for Christmas Is You came out.
Oh, yeah.
So you've got an excuse. You've got a pass. You've got a pass for Susanna Hoffs, and you've got a pass to hate Mariah Carey.
Thank you, Chuck.
All right.
Well, I also hate Mariah Carey, so,
y'all stop. I mean, it's like, I got to defend her,
All right, well, my high school favorite band was The Who. And after Keith Moon died, they had a lot of trouble. They got Kenny Jones on drums. And
Great drummer,
but
not Keith Moon.
For The Who. And their last album with Kenny Jones, before they went on a hiatus, and they recorded 2 albums after John Entwistle died later, and I don't even conclude those. But their last album was called It's Hard. And it's flaccid. It's terrible. It is like
What songs are on there?
I think Eminence Front is the only thing.
Eminence Front, I like the song,
but the album sucks.
What's the one that has no, that's Pete Townsend solo. I'm gonna get you anyway. It's got great guitar stuff on it, but it is the stupidest song.
Yeah. Well,
I mean that's all he says the whole song is I'm gonna get you anyway.
Well, with the one before Face Dances, it comes out before It's Hard. Well, Athena is the one that's on It's Hard. But Face Dances has some good stuff on it. It's like, you still miss Keith Moon, you still miss all that energy, it's just not there. And then they come out with It's Hard, and it's just like so incredibly dull.
I just knew you were going to say the Who Tommy soundtrack.
No,
I guess you don't count that one.
I don't count that one, but that one has some really good stuff on it. I mean, aside from having to listen to Oliver Reed sing and Jack Nicholson try to sing.
You get some Anne Margaret. I'd rather have her as the mom.
Well, Anne Margaret can sing.
Yeah.
I mean, But, that album it's got Tina Turner on it.
It does.
And she's great on it.
She is.
Elton John doing Pinball Wizard, it's not what I wanted, but he still does a really good job.
Yeah,
he's got cool boots.
Yeah, his boots are like 10 feet tall.
Yeah, the crowd's carrying him out when he's defeated, and just see these giant boots leading the way.
Yeah.
Original body surfing? Yeah, no.
Yeah, but no, it's
surfing.
The Who, after Keith Moon, are pretty,
when did he
disposable.
pass away?
Like 1981 or something.
Yeah, they were kind of mid-stride.
They released Who Are You right before he died.
Okay.
And... that album it's my least favorite of their classic years albums, but
he was a great Uncle Ernie.
Yeah, well, he was so weird.
He was crazy, though.
Ernie.
Well, there's a great story that Pete Townsend told. I think it was on David Letterman. He's like, you got to tell me a good Keith Moon story. And Pete was like, all right. So we were on tour in the States, and we were staying in this multi-floor hotel where there was like a balcony outside, and you could see the doors to the rooms. And the manager came and said, come on, we got to get to the airport and get on the plane. And so we all came down and got on the van, and we were on the way to the airport. And Keith said, wait, I forgot. Turn around, go back to the hotel. Goes back to the hotel, and you can see him. He gets on the elevator, and you can see him across the balcony. He goes in the room, and he comes out with a television and throws it out into the parking lot and comes back down. And he goes, man, I almost forgot.
Yeah, he did a lot of crazy things. I may actually change my recommendation on movies.
Okay.
Because it's something that you just said. But, The Who are a great band. They released a couple of bad albums. Go ahead.
So I'm going to knock out a couple that I've mentioned before in passing. One, Olivia Newton-John, big hit meister from 73 to 83. She had Let Me Be There, If You Love Me, Let Me Know, I Honestly Love You, Please Mister Please. All those Grease songs. She was in the Grease movie. A Little More Love, Magic, Xanadu. Mm-hmm. She was in the Xanadu movie. That was with ELO. Physical, one of the biggest hits of all time when came out.
She went sexy.
Yes, she was sexy.
She was Puritan. She was a Puritan up until then.
Yeah, Make a Move on Me, A Heart Attack, Twist of Fate, all these songs from 83. But I've mentioned before, I don't like Have You Never Been Mellow.
Oh, yeah, that's a stupid
It's like
song.
from 1975, and it's just such a...
I Honestly Love You's right up there with that one.
I think that
I kinda like that one.
That one feels. I kind of like that one. And when I listen to it again and let go of my natural inclination to push back on songs like that, it's like, she's doing this.
It's too earnest. For
Even
me.
the Have You Never Been Mellow, she's doing as best she can with what that song is. I don't know who wrote the song. I hope they didn't write other songs. But it was just like, oh no, Olivia, what are you doing? But she had all these other hits. Same thing with Prince. I've mentioned him before. He had so many different songs of starting in number 11, I Want to Be Your Lover. That was kind of the first big hit he had. And then everything from 1999, Little Red Corvette, When Doves Cry, Raspberry Beret, Kiss, You Got the Look with Sheena Easton, Alphabet Street, all these songs. And then in 1989, he did the song for Bat Dance. He did Bat Dance for the Batman movie. And it was so splashed together and not finished and just herky-jerky. It was like two different songs, and they were both terrible songs put together. And he did bounce back in the 90s a little bit with Get Off and Cream, but he was never the same after the Batman movie.
No, I totally agree. It's like he had that run that was just like nobody could touch him.
Just
everything was great.
Yeah, just so much variety and so many different perspectives and different, guest artists or whatever that he would highlight, and just amazing genius and everything. And then Bat Dance came out, and it was like, and that's the same year he did a terrible duo with Madonna. It's like, what's going on with Prince?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, yeah, the Batman soundtrack is awful.
Yeah. Well, that song especially was just awful.
Did Danny Elfman do the rest of the music for that movie?
Yeah, but it's two different albums. There's the Danny Elfman soundtrack, and then there's Prince's music.
Yeah. By Danny Elfman's.
Well, I mean, I think it's all. I think Prince wrote all his stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just not good.
no, it's and it doesn't fit the movie. The movie is just like.
No, it didn't.
Well, the movie
fit
probably
anything.
just said, maybe we can get Prince to do a song for
Exactly.
us
Well, I
and
mean,
get his star power.
Listen, when they got him to do the soundtrack, all those other songs I named, he had done those. And they're like, this is going to be amazing. What is he going to come out with? And that's what he came out with.
Yeah, it was awful.
So
Yeah.
beware.
Yeah.
I got two other kind of controversial ones.
Oh,
not super controversial, but one, Cyndi Lauper. She came out with the album She's So Unusual in 88 or 83. Why did I say 88? And just hit after hit. She had Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Great anthem song. She had
Time After Time.
She had Time After Time. Yes, she had She Bop. What a fun song She Bop was. And then she did cover up, I think, Prince's Money Changes Everything. She did a good job with that. I hated
that's
all...
not Prince's. That was another band. She did When You Were Mine by Prince.
When you were... that's right. That's right. Well, the Money Changes Everything was also a cover, though, right?
It's a cover.
Okay.
I can't remember the
But
band.
the one song in there that was kind of swept in with all the others was All Through the Night. And I don't like All Through the Night.
Really?
And what I don't like that chorus for the same reason I don't like that Lady Gaga chorus on Applause. It's just da 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 da. It's just like, I just feel like kind of this machine gun assault of lyrics in the chorus. And it's like, give me something, I can sing along with. It isn't just being shouted out. It was just like suddenly angry, and I don't know why.
That's interesting, because I really like that
and
song.
I love the album. See, that's it. I thought I liked that song too, but when I listen, it's like, I don't really like that one. These others are great. And she came back with, Goonies, True Colors. I think that's her most beautiful ballad. That was a great song, Change of Heart. But that one song from She's So Unusual, I don't
That's
like.
odd.
And I'm going to wrap this up with Madonna, my part. I'm going to wrap this up with Madonna because so many hits, so many great hits, so many okay hits, but I have always hated Vogue. I've always hated the song Vogue, and I don't know why. And, it's got a good rhythm and everything, and but I just hate who she is when she sings that song. So I typed in, you can do this too, but I Googled, why do I hate Madonna's Vogue? And I thought, well, is it going to give me an answer? And it did. It's not the reason I hated it, but it was saying a lot of people hate Madonna's Vogue because she co-opted gay men of color, like kind of an underground dance movement and everything. She co-opted it as her own. And so she's singing stuff that, gay black men and gay Latino men and all that stuff were the Vogue dancing and everything. And she made it her own. And then all of her references and there's kind of a rap part. All of her references are big old white stars, But well, no, that's not why I hate it. But that's a good reason too. That she's just co-opting. Yeah, she's just like piggybacking on someone else's culture and kind of taking the credit for it. Huh. But I just don't like it, and I don't even know why I don't like it. But I just don't. I've always totally disliked that song. And it's a weird one because it's for a lot of people, it's their favorite Madonna song.
That's interesting. Yeah, well. On that same note, on me not thinking that my least favorite being other people's favorite, on Lou Reed and the Velvet Underground, I've got one for Lou Reed and the Velvet Underground. My least favorite Velvet Underground album is Loaded.
Oh man,
I know, and
I think that's my favorite.
I know, and it's like, but again, it's because it's the production, it's the way they produce it, they do the instrumentation. It's just too sweet. I love they released a total of
four albums?
Yeah, I think 3 albums, right?
VU came out later.
Yeah. So officially there's only the Velvet Underground and Nico, White Light, White Heat. Actually there's 4. One just called the Velvet Underground and then Loaded. And Loaded has Sweet Jane on it. It has rock and roll. It has some of his best known songs. I just think that it just sounds so sweet and saccharine through it. It just I hate the sound. I love the songs, and I hardly ever listen to it because of that.
If you have something that you hate and you don't know why, Google it. Because after I Googled the Madonna thing, I said, well, this is kind of cool. And I was Googling some of the other songs, why do I hate this and why do I hate that? And they come up with it, it's AI, but they come up with really strange, this is what you don't like about her.
The reason Chuck doesn't like this song is because back in the day, he wrote an article about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, with me, I know that I just don't like the way it sounds. All those songs have been done so much better since then. Mm-hmm. And it's just this is just too sweetsy. This is not what this band was about. This was hard, edgy stuff, and it was just But the Lou Reed album I hate is The Bells, which came out in 1979. It followed up his great album Street Hassle, which is one of his best albums. It was on Arista. And everybody went crazy over it. The critics went crazy over it. And The Bells come out, and Rolling Stone says it's a brilliant album, too. And it's you don't listen to this stuff. You just say, it's Lou Reed. I'm going to say it's brilliant.
Right.
And it sucks.
Right.
Disco Mystic is on that album.
Right.
And it was I was so excited to buy this. It looked like it's going to be great. And I put it on, and it's this is terrible. In my opinion, it has not changed since. I've tried to listen to it again, and it's just awful.
Right. It's funny how we can just get kind of irrationally, antagonistic towards someone we love over one thing, like that.
Well, he released several albums that are not very good.
Right.
And then he released, his least favorite album is Sally Can't Dance. He's always talked about he hated how it was produced, and I think it's great.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons I got into Lou Reed. But, I don't know why he hates it so much. The production doesn't sound that different to me. But then...
Google, why does Lou Reed hate Lou Reed?
But, but that was the thing with Rolling Stone and some of the other music magazines. They would get on somebody and they could do no wrong.
Yeah. That's true. I think that was kind of a thing with the Madonna thing. It's all of a sudden everybody was on board with her for that song. It's this is not good. This isn't, and it was just it was kind of a stunt song, and it's other songs.
Sometimes an artist has a run of great stuff, and all of a sudden the critics get on their side, and then they can do
that ruins it. Yeah.
They can do no wrong, and and if you dare to criticize them, you're out.
You're wrong.
That's the way it was with Lou Reed. Yeah. It's everything he did was supposed to be brilliant. And it's no. Most of the time he released a great album, and then one was okay, and then every now and then he would just put out a total turkey. But then they got off of him. After he started releasing these kind of sweet love songs. So he got an era where he was doing real thoughtful type stuff, and it was he was really good. But then the critics got off of him, and they didn't like him. And it's give me a break. You're not listening.
I'm toast. I'm done.
Oh, you're done?
I'm done.
All right. Well, I want to throw out one of my very favorites is Elvis Costello. And he's released a lot of albums that a lot of people don't like that I do like generally. Mm-hmm. But he released an album called North, which is kind of loungy, and it just kind of sounded dialed in.
When was that from?
North came out in 2003.
Yeah, I was probably not really listening to a whole lot of Elvis Costello in 03,
Well,
but
people used to say he's like going through his record collection and doing an album like everything in his record collection, which when I talked to him and we talked about that, he said, well, you can do whatever you want. Why would you not want to just,
Who doesn't?
take every opportunity that
Right.
you had,
Right.
which I totally agree with. But North is like, it was right about the time that he and Diana Krall got married, I think. And she released an album I thought was kind of like so-so, and he released this album, which is like my least favorite.
Did they get divorced?
No, they're doing
No?
great.
Oh, wow.
And he came back.
Well, they had something else going on.
Well, they both made great albums after that.
Yeah.
I think that was it. I think maybe they were so
Adjustment
preoccupied with
period.
romance, maybe.
Yeah.
But,
they couldn't be bothered to write songs.
well, they just weren't really inspired for the most part. But,
They're inspired by each other.
well, I think they are.
Yeah.
I mean, and, they've got like twin boys, and they're happy. They seem to be very happy, and, it's just every now and then you hit a low period. And, like, I like all his experimental stuff. This wasn't that experimental. It was just kind of like, okay.
Wasn't pushing hard enough.
Maybe. I mean, I just didn't think there was real inspiration there. So anyway, I
Can
can
talk about the other Elvis?
Well,
He
gosh.
put out a bunch of crap.
I
And it's not him,
I don't have
but it's
anything to
RCA
say.
did.
Yeah, him and
just know you were an unofficial Elvis impersonator when you were
as
a
a
kid.
small child.
Yes.
And I was pretty damn good at it.
Yeah.
But
When you grew up.
well, I mean, Elvis's period from the 50s to about 1961
Oh.
is really, really good. And then he comes back in 68 and
He's
records
doing all these
some-
movies.
The movies and the movies are terrible. The soundtracks are just, some of the songs are just awful. I mean, there's handfuls of good stuff in it. But then in the 70s, when he's kind of on his last legs, he does this album called Moody Blue. And that single is just so boring. And the album was boring.
Is that fat jumpsuit karate chopping Elvis?
This is right before he dies, Elvis. This is kind of his last legs.
I remember he played Stokely Athletic Center in 77, I think. And my mom took my older brother and my older sister, but she said I was too young to go.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know.
Well, I've just thought I was too cool, and I've always regretted it because I could have gone, and I didn't. But, yeah, I mean, Elvis is one of those that you remember him for the 50s stuff and that brief period in the 68 era.
68 comeback.
Yeah, 68 to 70, he had some good stuff, and then it's pretty lame after that. And then
What was Suspicious Minds?
Suspicious Minds is that 68
Okay.
era. He recorded some stuff in Memphis that was really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, Burning Love, Suspicious Minds,
In the Ghetto?
In the Ghetto, written by Mac Davis.
Oh, Mac Davis.
Mac
all right.
Davis wrote In the
Kentucky
Ghetto.
Rain.
Kentucky Rain. All,
great
all
song.
that stuff's good.
Okay.
And
It's
then
an Eddie Rabbit song.
and then he comes back and it just went downhill after that.
All right.
So anyway, but yeah, that's really all I've got. I mean, I've got other stuff that I could talk about, but
Yeah, we're
Those are the
running
big
low
ones.
on time. What you got, John?
Oh, I just had one more, but nobody's
Okay.
ever heard of them, so I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
and before we started, John and I we were talking about the Beach Boys, but the Beach Boys released so much bad stuff too. It's real hard to check.
It's actually,
Right.
I think they
Yeah,
released
I get-
more
you know-
bad stuff than good stuff.
They
I
did.
don't know.
I think so.
I was coming across that with singles too. It's like, wow, I hate all their singles, so I'm not going to pick a worse one. you know?
Really?
No, not the Beach Boys. no, I'm just talking about. I came across that same phenomenon with.
Oh, yeah.
So I needed people who had a lot of songs I mostly liked, and then
Yeah.
one that kind of stood out as not being as good as the others.
Well, John and I can both agree that we hate Kokomo the most of all the Beach Boys
Okay.
singles.
Yeah, it's truly wretched.
Written by, John Phillips, and I think Scott McKenzie was writing on it, and
was
Mike
Mike
Love.
Love.
Yeah. Mike Love is so proud of that because it was such a big hit, and it sucks.
It was a big hit.
Well, it was also on that soundtrack of that Tom Cruise movie where he's the bartender at the
Cocktail.
cocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, don't even get me started on worst Tom Cruise movies. I mean,
Yeah.
80% of them. All right, recommendations.
You start. 'Cause
Me
I'm
start.
gonna
Okay.
change.
What am I starting with, music or movies, or do you care? I'm gonna start with music. So a couple of weeks ago, when I was going through my collections, I once again came across some albums from 20 odd years ago that I recognized the covers as something that I loved, but I couldn't remember anything about the band. I did that last time I went through my collection too. So one of those was Sticking Fingers into Sockets by Los Campesinos. And it came out in 2007. And it was an EP that came to me. And it was, so it was almost 20 years ago. I remember loving it. I remember the cartoon, the illustration on the back of it at least looks like something you might draw, Wayne. It was really interesting.
What's the name of the album again?
Sticking Fingers into Sockets by Los Campos. So this band, it's a seven-piece band, and they're credited as a Welsh band. They were formed in Cardiff, but I don't think there were any Welsh people in the band. They were like at the University of Wales or Cardiff University. That's where they were students at. But they're British. It's an indie band, and the cool thing about it is it was kind of a celebration of twee pop. You know what that is? So it's like a kind of this loose and free kind of rock. It's got almost a punk aesthetic, but it's real happy and kind of positive.
Kind of light touch.
It's like a positive flip side of punk. But it's real harmonic, and it's kind of, lots going on and everything. And this album, it came to me at a time when I needed it. I think I was just doing too many long albums and just kind of in a rut, and it wasn't my favorite year and all that stuff going on. And this was like a little 6-song, maybe 20 minutes long at most. It's exactly what I needed. They had some endearing kind of songs on there. The guys in it, the founding guys are still together. Gareth, David, Daisy, is that Daisy? Neil Turner, Tom Brandley. But the other members have come and gone. But this was their first release, so it was their debut, and it just gave a tired, jaded music critic like me, it just gave me just a lift, and I remembered it giving me a lift. And it's kind of like, I would call it a mix if you want bands that it would be kind of like a little bit Blur, a little bit Lynn, the Steal My Sunshine, and a little bit Juliana Hatfield. There's always like one woman who's singing in it too with the main guys. And it's just like a juggernaut of sound. It had like songs called We Throw Parties, You Throw Knives, Don't Tell Me to Do the Maths. But the stress track for me is this propulsive song called You, Me, Dancing with exclamation points. And it's such a free-for-all, and it's so joyous, and it's having a dance party, I guess at a bar or whatever, for people who can't dance. They know they can't dance, and the chorus is just like this really just up-tempo, really sweet, and they're going, it's you, it's me, and there's dancing, and they just keep singing that, and it's got a
sounds kind
beautiful,
of almost like B-52's lightness.
Yeah, it does, and it's UK, so it's like I say, the twee pop thing, and it's just like it hit me at the right time. I've listened to some of their more recent stuff. They had an album in 2024 called All Hell. Still has a lot of the energy and everything, but it's slowed down some, so it doesn't have this first EP just busting out on the scene, and I'm in a different place too than I was when I got that album. But they still sound good. But I definitely start with this 2007 album or EP and the song "You Me Dancing," which has about a minute slow intro. So ride that out, but you'll love the song once it gets into it.
Interesting, John.
Yes, I have just a radio station on Apple Music that it's an algorithm, I'm sure, but. Something that I'm wrong. I subscribe to Paste magazine, and about once a week they'll say, "Here's 10 new albums out that you should check out." And this one is by a guy named Finn Wolfhard, and Chuck recommended him. Or recognized him. He starred in Stranger Things, and he's starred in a bunch of different movies over the years. But I
recommend some movie he was in. Go ahead, though.
But he's also played in a bunch of bands, and he writes and records his own stuff. It's definitely just indie pop, kind of guided by voices. It's kind of all over the place. But he's got a real buoyant personality, and he's a really good songwriter. And the album is called Fire from the Hip. It was just released like a week ago, which will be months from now when this comes out. But Finn Wolfhard, Fire from the Hip, 2026, new album. It's really good.
All right.
And I want to recommend, because I recommended, or I said what a bad album he put out. I want to recommend my favorite Elvis Costello album, which is Armed Forces.
Yeah.
And Armed Forces is sort of the last of his great albums from his first period with the Attractions. And it's got Accidents Will Happen on it.
Oliver's Army.
Oliver's Army. What's so funny about Peace, Love, and Understanding is like the finale. It's a cover of a Nick Lowe song. Yeah. And it is just great start to finish. And
it's got a lot. I mean, his lyrics are so good, and it's a lot to bite into. It's substantial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Imperial Bedroom is like, that's the one I thought was my favorite for years, and then I've gone back and listened to them all, and it's like, nope, Armed Forces is like...
Imperial Bedroom's great. It's produced by Jeff Emmerich, who was the Abbey Road engineer and producer for years. But I think I agree with you. Yeah,
Armed Forces. And now when you buy it, you get the... I think they still give you the bonus live tracks. It originally came out with an EP with it that had live versions of Allison and Accidents Will Happen and Watching the Detectives, and it's great. He was great live back then. I saw him back in that era, and he was terrific. So anyway, Armed Forces, Elvis Costello.
Okay. You want to flip over to movie?
Well, another one, since we were talking about this, I changed my movie recommendation.
Okay.
I'm going to recommend something else. But because we started talking about Keith Moon, The Kids Are All Right, the documentary by Jeff Stein about The Who from 1979 is great. And you want to listen to it with the best sound system because it's got complete performances of great Who songs. And the most entertaining of the documentary parts is Keith Moon, because Keith Moon is crazy. And everybody talking about Keith Moon being crazy is fun. And there's one interview he does, I don't know what it was made for, but he has a dominatrix whipping him while he's doing the interview.
Well, and there's a scene where they're playing live, and Keith Moon explodes his drum kit with
on the Smothers Brothers show. Right that's the opening of the movie.
And Pete Townsend went deaf in one ear because of that.
Yeah, wow. He had a bomb set in his drum kit on the Smothers Brothers show.
I remember distinctly commercials for The Kids Are All Right with Ringo Starr saying, "You know who I am, and I know who you are, and we all know who the Who are." Do you remember that commercial?
Yeah, and it was funny. I mean, it's like, that's one of the few rock documentaries, if you want to hear just the music more than anything else, you get it.
Okay.
And some great performances. But yeah, I mean, listen to it in the best sound system that you can get, or watch it with the best sound system.
All right.
So there you go.
Well, normally this time of year I'm watching the Tour de France every night, but it's a rest day, and I discovered a documentary on YouTube called In the House of Andre Segovia, and it's from 1967. He is a Spanish guitarist, considered the father of modern classical guitar. His claim in there is that he wanted to rescue the guitar from the hands of the flamenco players, because that was just dance music and stuff, and he wanted it to be real substantial music. So he wrote out and did arrangements of Bach fugues and Baroque music played on guitar. And you get to see him playing. He plays with his fingernails are really long, and he's picking the strings with his fingernails. My father loved classical music and loved in particular Andre Segovia. Huh. And I remember, I think it was maybe senior year in high school for my birthday, he bought me a really nice Takamine classical guitar in a beautiful case with a pickup in it, and it was, I'm sure he spent a lot of money on it. And then I went to college and started a band, and all the bands that were popular in 1982 and 83 had synthesizers, so I traded that Takamine guitar in for a synthesizer, which ultimately one of my cats peed in, and it shorted out, and it was gone.
No.
Of all the instrument trades I have made, that's the one I deserve to get my ass kicked the most. But anyway, In the House of Andre Segovia, it's from 1967. That was 20 years before his death, and it's fascinating. I was just awestruck watching him play.
Huh. And we had a classical guitarist here in town, Ben Bolt, who took lessons from Segovia.
Oh, I didn't know that. I knew he was. Yeah. I think I have a cassette of his somewhere around here.
Okay, so I had a life-affirming music. I've got a life-affirming movie to recommend called Stop That Train. It came out in theaters for a hot minute in June, but now it's on Apple TV, Amazon Prime, and some others now streaming. It's directed by Adam Shankman, who did everything from The Wedding Planner to the Hairspray movie, Rock of Ages. He did Modern Family episodes. And it stars RuPaul as the President of the United States of America. So already, you know,
I'll take it.
And there are several drag race queens from RuPaul's show,
Right.
RuPaul's Drag Race, and they're two groups of them, and they play like flight attendants. Only they're on train companies,
Right.
And one of them, these two dumpier older ones, have gotten fired because their company's going under. So they try to get on Glamazonian railways as hosts there. It's got a Mean Girls element to it because like all the ones who work on this Glamazonian railway, they're all tall and thin and young and everything. And one of them sees one of the short, dumpy ones who's trying to get a job there. She goes, "Oh, I almost didn't recognize you with all the crow's feet and sun damage." So it's got that in it. But basically, this train is on a path for disaster, some storm that it's moving into. And there are a whole lot of other people. It's an ensemble cast. It's very much like Airplane. It's just stupid lines and stupid settings and everything. It's got Sarah Michelle Gellar, Nicole Richie, Chris Parnell, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, Brian Jordan Alvarez from English Teacher, Natasha Leggero, stand-up comic, Joel McHale, Jerry O'Connor. There's all kinds of different people. But the Alvarez guy, he's like a male flight attendant or something, and they're talking to him. They're saying, "You're heading into the eye of the storm." He goes, "You mean to tell me it has a face?" So just stupid lines like that. But one of my favorite that was replayed over and over. It was like the President RuPaul's staff comes in, and one of them says, "Madam President, have you made a decision?" And she says, "I have. It's time to nuke Russia." And she pops open this button and has this long red finger going to push the button. Then she goes, "Kidding." And they say, "Oh, I love that every time you tell that joke." So, but it's stupid and it's action and just a lot of weirdness and just very Naked Gun, top secret kind of movie that's just stupid.
Sight gags.
Yeah. You can sit for an hour and a half and get some laughs, and it's worth your time too.
Cool.
All right. Okay, stop that train! Exclamation points after stop that
podcast.
Train. Stop that podcast. Yes, you can find us all over social media on everything from Facebook to Reels to X and TikTok and Instagram. We're on YouTube. We have videos on YouTube on our channel there, and we also have a podcast channel. All of our episodes are now on YouTube. If you'd prefer something other than Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever you normally use, you can find us there. And you can write us with suggestions, recommendations of your own for movies or music or whatever at howweheardit@gmail.com. And once again, thank you all for listening, and I hope we didn't make anybody mad by trashing anything they like.
Hello, Lebanon.
What?
Hello, Lebanon.
Yes. Bonjour. And anyway, thank you very much, and we'll come back at you. Thank you.
You've been listening to How We Heard It with Chuck Campbell and Wayne Bledsoe, a podcast about music, movies, art, culture, whatever it is that's on their mind. How We Heard It was recorded at the Arbor Studio in Knoxville, Tennessee by me, John Baker. How We Heard It is a Cozy Planet production. If listening to this podcast has given you a burning sensation, then we recommend you sit in a hot tub until your symptoms fade away. If you'd like to reach out to Chuck or Wayne or even me, you can send an email to howweheardit@gmail.com. So thank you for listening, and come on back and we'll have another episode for you next week.